can be released by different frequencies, pulsed through the 5G network.
If you got the shots, the odds are, according to U.S. law, that you are owned by the patent holders. You're a new species called homo-born genesis.
At 2:20 Eastern, 11:20 our time today, everyone's phones made a terrible noise all at once. And because everyone's crazy now, the conspiracy goblins were out in full force.
They say that there's so much water up north that I want to have the overflow areas go into your forests and dampen your forest, because if you dampen your forest, you're not going to have these forest fires that are burning at levels that nobody's ever seen before.
The worst case scenario is it activates people and makes them aggressive, and we see the Hutus and the Tutsis recreated in America.
And there's actually worse parts to it than that, including the 1p36 gene deletion that effectively will turn those poor people into zombies.
Warning anyone who'll listen that this is all part of the globalist plan to mutate us when the vaccines get hit with 5G.
And we can actually dampen our forests with water that costs us nothing, that will come pouring down from the north. Wouldn't that be nice? If you had dampened floors, you wouldn't have forest fires. So we'll work on that too.
Yeah, 24. DTF, dampen the forest.
I want to talk about the same thing over and over again.
Season 2 of Triple Confidential is back. 5G technology. Is it the reason your grandson is a gay? We dial in on your ISP's LIEs. In 5G, the G may stand for gay.
You have droughts. We're rich people in Beverly Hills. We don't feel so sorry for them, but I do actually. You know, they pay millions of dollars in taxes. They're taking a shower. They're told to hurry up. You're only allowed a small amount of water when they take a shower.
I want to talk about the exact same bullshit that we do every couple of years.
It is going to be difficult for my Republican friends to keep calling President Biden feeble while he continues to take Speaker McCarthy's lunch money in every negotiation. What commitments were made to President Biden to continue the spending of President Biden in exchange for doing things for President Biden? It is becoming increasingly clear who the Speaker of the House already works for, and it's not the Republican conference. If Kevin McCarthy works for Democrats and utilizes Democrats in order to keep power, that would be consistent with everything we've seen from him.
Have you spoken to Mr. President Trump about this?
I have.
And what was his advice to you?
I think I'm going to keep that between the two of us.
Have you talked to Speaker?
One property that's worth anywhere from 50 to 100 times what this judge put down as a value. Put down a value $18 million, and the property's probably worth, could be anywhere from 50 to 100 times more than that. And a lot of those numbers could even be low.
Only Donald Trump would inflate the value of his assets while on trial for inflating the value of his assets.
Fuck. I want to talk about our government shutdown.
Some say Bill Gates and Oprah are Antifa vampire lizards who secretly own all the world's fresh water. Facebook memes suggest they're poisoning it with fluoride to make you enjoy rap music. What are they hiding?
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck. So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down.
Because it's happening, yo.
Trump persistently committed fraud by inflating the value of his assets and said that Trump was living in a fantasy world, not the real world. Yes, a fantasy world where he won the election, windmills kill whales, and this is 215 pounds.
This is a judge that should be disbarred. This is a judge that should be out of office. This is a judge that some people say could be charged criminally for what he's doing. He's interfering with an election, and it's a disgrace. Thank you very much.
This is Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, sitting right there. You can see Donald Trump sitting there next to his attorney, Christopher Kais, his lead counsel. We are not sure exactly if the judge has ruled on this matter yet, but
I see still photogs too.
Nevertheless, you are seeing pictures, and there is the judge himself, Arthur Engoron, who can only issue a decision after 5 smaller judges combine their powers to form Engoron. Trump fined as much as $250 million. That's a lot of money, especially considering that, according to Trump, $250 million could be valued as much as $3 billion.
Oh, how excited they are to put the government tit in its place. Oh, how excited they are to fuck up a bunch of people's situations.
If I'm sitting down and that boat's going down and I'm on top of a battery and the water starts flooding in, I'm getting concerned. But then I look 10 yards to my left and there's a shark over there. So I have a choice of electrocution or shark. You know what I'm going to take? Electrocution. I will take electrocution every single time. Do we agree? I will take electrocution.
So, in summary, would you rather me be your next president or have a butt where your mouth is and a mouth where your butt is and then have to eat a bug with your mouth butt?
The African American called him an ape. The judge wouldn't allow us to put that in. Her dog or her cat was named Vagina.
The DCPA says she was vaping. Boebert's team denied that, said the haze was from fog machines in the show. That claim goes up in smoke when you see the video. The pregnant woman sitting behind Boebert told the Denver Post she asked her to stop vaping, and Boebert refused, before ushers returned and told Boebert she had to leave. The theater's incident report says Boebert pulled the "Don't you know who I am" card on the way out, appearing...
Oh, how excited they are to fuck up a bunch of people's paychecks.
Jews. We all know they caused Hurricane Katrina, but what are they planning with their space lasers?
Trick question. I will take electrocution.
Oh, how excited they are to shut down our fucking government.
8 planets, 8 nights of Hanukkah. That adds up to 16. The same number of letters in Barbra Streisand's name if you add an extra A right here.
It was the exact same thing in 96. By God, Newt Gingrich's going to set a new standard for House Republicans.
Can't really argue with him. The man does know talentless loser creeps. In fact, he fathered 2 of them.
Because by God, it was the Republican Revolution.
Other Republicans, they'll never be able to carry the weight that my father's carried, never. They want to have my father spend tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars. These monsters want to have my father in a courthouse. My father came down that escalator. My father had them listed. When you see the amount of buildings my father has built, I am so thankful I've got the toughest father in the world.
Flash forward to Obamacare. It's the exact same bullshit. And then Trump did it with his fucking wall. What the fuck is the matter with these people? The only way they know how to run the government is by shutting it down.
I'm imagining a tiny little Moses in there parting the Red Sea.
This was always the plan, was to shut it down. This is what Republicans do, because they gotta look tough. Boy, you damn sure looking tough with that big government if you turn that government off.
Do you know how much you have to suck to get AOC and Matt Gaetz on the same side of something?
Will you still be Speaker of the House by the end of tonight?
You know, if I counted how many times someone wanted to knock me out, I would have been gone a long time ago.
Well, you're gone now.
But don't worry. Only thousands and thousands of military men will not get their paychecks.
Matt Gaetz is so happy. They say Matt hasn't been this excited since he wandered into the changing room at Forever 21. I get the phones are going to turn us into zombies. Our phones already turned us into zombies, okay? And by the way, zombies eat brains, so none of you guys have anything to worry about. It's
only thousands and thousands of families' income will just cease to happen. Shouldn't be that big a deal. The last one was only for what? 35 days? 35 days? With no paycheck?
I'm not going to blame you for it. The last time you shut it down, it didn't work. I will take the mantle of shutting down.
Ooh, foiled again by Trump's arch nemesis, his mouth. Ooh.
But if you were concerned that your phone would somehow trigger a zombie transformation, there was a simple thing you could do to prevent it.
First, it's important you both turn off your phones and your laptops and put them in Faraday bags, right? Because theoretically, a battery-powered
or the microwave, or your microwave.
Well, yeah.
Don't turn the microwave on, but in the microwave, because that is a Faraday cage in itself.
Now, this reminds me of a story of how misinformation works. And Vladimir Putin knows well. And Republicans need to hear this well.
Sources telling me at this hour some House Republicans have been in contact with and have started an effort to draft former President Donald Trump to be the next speaker. And I have been told that President Trump might be open to helping the Republican Party, at least in the short term.
Did you take the job? A lot of people have asked me about it. I'm focused. You know, we're leading. I don't know you. I'm sure you don't read too much in the papers. But we're leading by like 50 points for president. You know, my focus is totally on that. If I can help them during the process, I would do it.
The way you create a narrative is by putting a story stuck in some newspaper here, some television station there, and you get a buzz going. And if you're able to do that, you can make anything true. What do they call that? Alternative facts?
We want him back as president, so why not make him Speaker of the House, even if it's an interim speaker, while we work to find another speaker. Anyone that wants to run for speaker, the only way to earn my vote is to beat President Trump.
He's never going to have sex with you, Marge. Stop it. He's a married man. You know.
Back in the 80s, the Soviet Union put some stories in Indian papers and I think a Pakistani paper that, maybe some Philippines papers, I think, that the American CIA had created AIDS. And before any American had even heard this story, there was 500 million people on Earth talking about it. Because she just put the story out there. Just a little thing here and a little thing there. And the internet has made everything different. You don't have to go to all that trouble. That deal with the AIDS, that was an operation that took 18 months. You can do it in 18 minutes now.
You can clearly see there's an espresso martini leaking out of his head. But I have to say that I was thinking about Giuliani, and the saddest thing about it is if they weren't on opposite sides of the fence, Rudy and Hunter Biden would probably have a really good time together.
And Republicans seem to have people believing that a shutdown is a good thing. Or is it that once again, Republicans think that the shutdown's going to work out for them? When in 96 it didn't. Obamacare still stands. Trump had to steal the money from the Pentagon to get his goddamn wall.
Somehow we got to communicate to the American people, this is for real. Mm-hmm. This is real if they were to take over. If the former president were to become president again, the things he says he will do are a threat to American democracy. And by the way, it's not just here. As I travel the world, mm-hmm. I have heads of state asking me, conservative heads of state, look, what's going to happen? Does that mean? Because democracy is in jeopardy in other parts of the world as well.
We'll see who gets blamed for this. I think we know who it's going to be. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. Y'all take it easy.
I never thought I'd see a time when someone was worried about being on a jury because there may be physical violence against them if they voted the wrong way.
Gentle, go mental, and blow up the cosmos. Learn more on Hanukkah Festival of Frights. Triple Confidential on Fox Nation. Hosted by JFK Jr. and Sasquatch.